Welcome back to SmackDown. It's November week 3. We're just a couple shows away from Survivor Series. Please like, subscribe, share the video, comment down below, hype the video. Whatever you can do, do it.
All of
There's a
it.
lot you can do. All of it. I don't care if you put the longest message known to mankind in the comments or the shortest message known to mankind.
Put
Any of it
the
helps.
entire script for the B movie in the comments.
Yeah, just go ahead and do that. Just copy, paste it. Or if you're a tryhard, just write down the whole thing word by word.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
All
But
right.
with that said, let's move on to SmackDown. AJ Lee and Cora Jade open the show and speak about their match last week for the women's tag titles. AJ says she's glad Cora called her to get a chance to step back in the ring one more time. But last week left a bit of a sour taste in her mouth. Team Bad then come down and gloat about retaining the titles. They say AJ nor Cora will never get the chance to be tag champions ever again. Plus, neither will get the chance to ever be women's champion again. Big E then comes down and says, about that actually, see, I've grown tired of you guys using the numbers to your advantage every match you have, so I have a plan. Next week we will see a rematch between Team Bad and AJ Lee and Cora. This time it won't be for the tag titles, but since Mercedes wanted to get involved last week, if AJ and Cora can beat Team Bad, then whoever gets the pinfall or submission will be awarded a title shot at Mercedes following Survivor Series. Mercedes is frustrated at this. Team Bad isn't happy about this. And we just cut to commercial as everyone kind of reacts to the news. We come back to Karrion Kross versus Seth Rollins. This is a round 2 matchup in the men's chamber qualifier. Seth Rollins picks up the win. After the match, Seth Rollins walks through the curtain and is immediately confronted by Cody Rhodes. Cody puts out a hand and says, "Congrats on making it to the finals." Seth says, "I'm not going to shake your hand. You have something I want, so I'll shake your hand when I beat you in the chamber at Survivor Series." Seth then walks past him and walks further down the hall and is confronted by Drew McIntyre. Seth says, "Drew, we are not doing another round of this. We are past it. Just move out of the way." Drew stops him and says, "Seth, we are never going to be past what we have done to one another. We have taken years off, let alone our careers, but probably our lives. I just want to give you my word that I will not do anything to cause you to lose this tournament. But once you win that title, I'm going to be first in line to take it off your shoulders." Seth just chuckles and walks past Drew. We then see Big E is in his office and Roxanne Perez walks through the doorway. Big E gets up and shakes her hand and welcomes her over to SmackDown. Roxanne says she doesn't plan to be here long, just needs to scout some potential opponents, so if you don't mind, I'm going to head down to the ring. Big E says as long as you don't get involved, he doesn't have any problems. Rox just laughs and walks towards the ring. We head down to the ring. We have Asuka versus Raquel Rodriguez, a round 2 matchup in the women's chamber. Roxanne is sat at the commentary table, and she sees her first opponent from SmackDown, or her second opponent technically from SmackDown, enter the chamber in Asuka as she beats Raquel Rodriguez. Big E is overwhelmed in his office as Sammy, Lucha Bros, Street Profits, and Trick Williams are all arguing about Bloodline Wolfpack. Big E says, "Everybody give me some time to think." After a few moments, Big E says, okay, here's what we're going to do. Since Bloodline Wolfpack only has 4 members, only 4 of you can fit into this match. But next week we are going to have a traditional Survivor Series matchup. It will be Sammy, Trick, and either the Street Profits or the Lucha Bros versus Bloodline Wolfpack. To decide who makes it into that match between to decide who makes it between Lucha Bros and Street Profits, there will be a match tonight. Now please everybody leave my office. Charlotte Flair is flaunting her new IC title with Chemical X when Jade storms into frame. Jade is held back by security and complains about Charlotte using brass knuckles last week. Charlotte denies ever using them. Charlotte says she was just simply better and needs to head down to the ring to cheer on Tatum against Io. We head down to the ring, Tatum Paxley versus Io Sky, a round 2 matchup in the women's chamber qualifier. Roxanne still at ringside at commentary. Charlotte down at ringside along with the rest of Chemical X. Towards the end of the match, we see Charlotte and Roxanne arguing on the outside, both flaunting their titles as they argue. Um, both flaunting their titles. As they argue, Jade rushes down to the ring and attacks Charlotte from behind, shoving her into Rox. Tatum is distracted watching Charlotte fend off Jade, then turns around and gets hit with the pop rock. Then turns around and gets hit with the pop. Jesus Christ, how did I write this? Tatum is distracted watching Charlotte fend off Jade. Charlotte then turns around and gets hit with pop rocks. Io capitalizes from the distraction and picks up the win. Io earns the last spot from SmackDown into the Women's Chamber. Charlotte pop rocks. Charlotte got pop rocked on the outside.
She's gimmick infringement.
Gimmick infringements. I don't even know if Charlotte could do a pop rocks. Roxanne is walking backstage and Biggie confronts her. Biggie says, I asked for one thing and one thing only. Now look at you. Rox says that Charlotte had it coming. She tried to act like a big shot. Jade Cargill then storms past Rox, and Rox says, this seems like you have bigger problems, so I'm going back to Raw, and walks off screen. AJ Styles is then seen walking around backstage with a crown on, a cape, and a cane. Ethan Page is walking slightly behind him when Bloodline Wolfpack confronts them. Solo tells AJ that next week he's going to see what it's like when his family is working together, and that AJ can use it as an example for what's going to happen at Survivor Series when they take the titles. AJ has this confused look and says, Paige, did this peasant just speak to me without being spoken to first? Regardless of your empty threats, at Survivor Series, the Phenomenal King and his associate are going to beat you black and blue and retain those tag titles. Then I'm going to win that World Heavyweight Championship and rule SmackDown as this glorious double champion king. Now move out of my way. I hear catering has a beautiful meal prepared for me. They walk past. We head down to the ring for Street Profits versus Lucha Bros. This is for a spot in the Survivor Series style match next week. The Lucha Bros pick up the win. The Kabuki Warriors come across Io and Dakota backstage. Both Io and Asuka start arguing immediately, and Dakota tries to ease some tension, but Kairi shoves her back. Dakota looks shocked as Asuka tells them that next week she is going to humiliate Io. They walk off. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn speak backstage ahead of their match. Kevin says, Sami, why do you always do this to yourself? You never focus on one thing. You find every way possible to give yourself a distraction. So now you have to think about Bloodline Wolfpack whilst going up against me. Sami says, Kevin, you know as well as anybody that I can handle multiple things on my plate. Sami goes to speak, but Kevin cuts him off and says, I don't think you've truly thought this one through. If you somehow beat me tonight, the next week, let alone do you have to have the Survivor Series match, but then you have to face Seth Rollins to decide who's making it into the chamber. Just do me a favor out there and lay down so I don't have to beat the crap out of you. Then afterwards, you can just focus on Bloodline Wolfpack. And Kevin heads down to the ring. We move on to Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, the second round matchup in the men's chamber qualifiers. Towards the end of the match, we see Bloodline Wolfpack has come out and is trying to distract Sami, but they have caught the referee's intention instead. We see Kevin charge into the corner, but Sami gets a boot up. Sami then grabs Kevin and is seemingly going for an inverted imploder into the corner, when Kevin just manages to get out of his grip and Braun Breaker, who was charging in for a spear, nails Sami instead. The referee is still distracted by Bloodline Wolfpack. Kevin hits Braun with a stunner, then gets the referee's attention and covers Sami for the 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens moves on to the finals for the tournament. And that is SmackDown.
That is SmackDown. Now we only have to go home shows.
Go home shows and pay per view.